Welcome back to the Krown Crypto channel. Wishing you a happy and healthy start to this nice Tuesday morning over here from Dubai. Keep on meaning to say Helsinki, but you know what? No, it's still Dubai for another few days. I want to remind myself to remind other people out there that if you are trying to contact me while we're over here in Dubai, it's going to be a little bit more difficult for me to get back to you. I'm trying to do my best to get back to the people who've reached out to me, but please do understand that connectivity is not necessarily ideal as we're moving around a lot. Anyways, with that said, a lot to discuss on price action today, as we do see a little bit of a short-term range resolution. So I want to follow up on that ongoing thread that we've been following for the last, I guess about 3 weeks now, and kind of where that lands into today, and then go over some very tangible and hopefully actionable pieces on price action that, if met, would dictate the next, week or two to come. So with that in mind, I do want to, oh yes, that's right, in my notes over here, let you know that the premium features on the Krown trading application are now live. I won't go through the full rigmarole on that. You can just hit the Learn More tab over here and it'll explain, what to expect with it, so that you yourself can make the decision for yourself whether it's applicable to your likings or not. At some point when we get back in the next week, then I will record a full-on video for it so that you can see it in front of your very eyes. But for now, that'll have to suffice, and I think it's time to get into the price action charts, huh? All right, yeah, let's start it off with what I'm going to refer to as the chart of the day over here, and that is the daily stochastic momentum oscillator over here. And the reason why I'm starting off over here is because this is the most tangible piece that we could see confirmed next on price action as soon as today's closure at 00 UTC or 7 p.m. Eastern time, whichever time zone you desire to measure your time analysis in. It's all the same. I can assure you it's all the same. I get a lot of questions about this. Krown, when is the daily close? What time zone do you prefer the daily close on? I don't know. They're all the fucking same though. But hey, fair enough, man. Pick whichever one you like. I can assure you they're all equivalent. Okay, cool. So the reason why I'm starting off over here is because the daily is kind of the key to the higher term timeframes in this case. We do see that daily stochastic momentum will actually turn back onto the upside with any sort of a closure today of about 43,950 or so. I'm just going to blindly say $44,000. It's a nice round even number. It's easier to remember and gives us a bit of a buffer zone, as exchanges will have like small incremental differences on that number itself. If Bitcoin does close above there today, we will not only see stochastic momentum turn back onto the upside, but we'll see 3 other very important things happen simultaneously that, if confirmed, would mean quite a fair bit on price action itself. So first and foremost, or I wouldn't necessarily say foremost, but first we will speak about the positioning of the stochastic momentum. We do see that is right around the edge of the bullish control zone right here. So crossing back onto the upside today upon closure would essentially suggest, it would confirm that we are still within the grips of bullish momentum in this case. We also obviously see that the DMI is still green right here as well, and it will be green as long as Bitcoin is above 40,300 or so. Obviously, we've seen weirder things then come back down below there, but obviously if Bitcoin does close above 44, then this condition will be satisfied as well. And we do see that the ADX, representing volatility from kind of a different angle, is coming down for a bit of reset right here. So when we see something like that plus a fresh signal, and then presumably ADX starting to point back up alongside the HVP right here, which you can see right there, those are typically the signals that we want to be looking for on this particular indicator, which we refer to as the advanced stochastic. So that would be, well, rather potent. I want to show you what happened the last time that we saw something similar to this, which was, where was this? This was, hold on, I'm trying to find an iteration of this. All right, let's see. I feel like there's got to be one somewhere around here. Yeah, here would be a good one. We do see, in this particular instance, we do see it off of the summer bear trap, Bitcoin having low ADX right there. We see the DMI flips positive, and then obviously stochastic momentum on that tick was actually just heading into the bullish control zone right there, alongside volatility pointed up as well. And well, that was essentially your whole move, starting from about mid to low 30s, going up to about $53,000 before, well, coming back down and then continuing onwards and upwards after that higher low. But I do think that is rather relevant right now, and if that condition is met, it'll have a bit of an avalanche of effects going onwards and forwards from here. So I want to now follow up on the last few weeks of that thread of price action that we've been kind of creating. It was essentially this on this chart right here, where basically first we were looking for a bounce off of $35,000. We got that bounce off of $35,000. First target was a 382 at 41. Second target was 45 at the 0.5 49.5, and then we were looking for a pullback somewhere down around about 41.5, maybe a little bit deeper to 41 even, but looks like we got down to about 41.5. Yeah, we got down to 41.5 there, so that is that solidifies that. And now the real question is, what does this mean for the next for the next week or two to come? So in yesterday's video, we did say that an hourly closure above the $43,000 weekend high right here would initiate targets back up first. In this case, let me get rid of this, to the 0.5 on a bearish retracement from the high to low of our last little range, and I would be looking for a bit of a pullback from there. Maybe we're seeing it right now. Perhaps Bitcoin comes back down somewhere, maybe just shallowly below about 43. That's fine. I don't really have any major contingency upon this, and I will talk about invalidation in just a second. But after that short-term pullback, perhaps, then I would be looking for a move, something like this, up to the 618. The reason why this is important, right now, is because the 44,200 level, or sorry, the 618, which is at 44,200, would naturally put the daily stochastic momentum in a position to obviously close above that threshold that we overlaid over here. Problem is, that could happen before the daily close, and then Bitcoin comes back down below that level, and then the condition is actually not solidified, at which point maybe we have another chance tomorrow. It's definitely possible, but I'd want to see it in real time, or maybe it's just a full-on trap and things just continue onwards and downwards. It's definitely possible. But with that in mind, there is going to be a potential opportunity for that, and if these two conditions are met with each other, I would say that's it's very, very likely that Bitcoin's going to give at least another try towards 45, and that is going to put the 4 hour in the same position that we were looking for coming into like the last, I guess, going back to the 7th of February, so like the last week, to actually break out of that $45,000 level, which the same conditions would apply here. 4 hour closure above $45,000, great. We're very likely looking at extension, perhaps all the way up to $48,000 to $50,000. In fact, going in line with this chart, that would actually fulfill. Oops, damn lines getting drawn again. That actually fulfill a range resolution right here, and the next natural target based off of this as a little bit of a short-term consolidation would be around $50,000, and also synonymous around the 618, and that even has a greater avalanche of effects here as well. Mr. Mark B is gonna fucking love this one because he always loves this one. But what do we have? We have the good old cock and balls, boom, 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 and your neckline would be right around $45,000. So that also simultaneously be confirming a greater formation here, a reversal formation in this case. The volume signature on this is, I guess it's okay in this case. Not actually a humongous fan of the volume signature after looking at cryptocurrencies for so long, because it doesn't seem to matter as much here as it does in traditional, for example. But I'll take the more conservative estimate of this target, and that would be pointed up somewhere around about 53 to 54, or sorry, 52 to 50. $3,000 or so. So that'd be a big deal. Obviously, longer term, that would imply that Bitcoin very likely does beget continuation somewhere around, our deep $50,000 territory. I would not necessarily say that I'd be blindly bullish on Bitcoin after that point. I do think, like, at best, the best case scenario hopium, if that were to happen, would be something like, like that, and then it comes back down to these levels and then puts another higher low on the weekly. Something like that would be okay. And then you got, one higher low, two higher low, three higher low, like right there. Maybe I just draw a trend line instead of trying to draw it out like a fucking child. But there we go, something like that. Possible over a long period of time. But let's talk about invalidation, because this is equally as important. None of this has been confirmed just yet. None of it, except for the short-term timeframes, of which we've already seen the strong majority of that move. So, what would invalidate this as a potential short-term bullish setup with targets back down to the mid $30,000 territory, around $35,000, give or take a little bit from that target? Well, let me get rid of these first. Okay, my drawings are going everywhere. It's ridiculous. Okay, there we go. All right, nice, lovely. Anyways, what would confirm that? The same criteria as before, actually. Daily closure below the CME gap from 2 Fridays ago, which is right here at about 40,400, let's say. And then, yes, I would be looking for another run at about 35 or 36,000 bucks, and maybe another bounce right there. I do think, and I do want to be on record as saying that if Bitcoin does choose the downside route of this, then I don't think that Bitcoin actually has enough open interest here to really, provide that rocket fuel for like a massive catastrophic collapse, down to like majorly new lows. I just think that Bitcoin would come down to like the mid 35s or, somewhere around there. You can see right here on global open interest that we didn't really hit any extremes on that last high to $45,000. For example, when we have hit extremes, which is, above about 13 and a half, which for reference, our last high we got up to about just over 12 billion. Those have been the moves that have had an extremely high hit rate of at minimum 20% moves to the downside or more. Talking about March of 2021, talking about September of 2021, talking about early December of 2021, and then more recently in January as well. But for right now, I don't think that Bitcoin has the rocket fuel liquidity to have a liquidation party that really has, that cascade of effects with bringing it, further down to like the macro range lows at about 29 to 30. I think it, at worst looks something like this. At worst looks something like that, boom, and then put in a lower high there and then come down hard. That would probably be what I'd be looking for. Anyways, let's go back into the short-term timeframes over here. We've hit validation, we've hit invalidation. Funnily enough, or maybe not funnily enough, but the CME chart actually looks a little bit more lenient for the boo laws there. Again, basically any sort of a daily closure, especially above 45, would look, quite good as well. Okay, what else do we want to speak about while we are here? Yeah, I want to follow up on yesterday's short-term time frame jewel signal. And by the way, I need to add the regular jewel back, although this one's getting the job done for now. We do see it turn cyan alongside volatility expanding. So you'll notice here that it initially turned dark blue for one little segment. Why was that not a good signal? Because during that segment, which was right here, I'm on that bar, you actually saw volatility still below the moving average on it. It was not expanding. So once it started to expand, then get a strong color or a solid color, those are the signals that you want to see. And in this case, we've seen it thus far, which is, well, good for the boo laws, I suppose. Anyways, just want to check out some of the other time frames. This hasn't really done too much. 12-hour lost its downside curvature right here on the 12-hour jewel. We also do see that volatility also is contracting in this region as well. So again, that was a corrective signal first to the downside. Now we're starting to see it get back above 12-hour RSI, back above the moving average as well, and heading towards the bullish control zone is a good thing. Well, for the blue laws, obviously, daily, same thing here as well. And again, the same sort of corrective signal on daily BBWP plus jewel as well. So let's actually go through the lower term time frame. Stochastic momentum oscillators, and then put the picture together, maybe even look at the chart of the day or the other chart of the day as well. But the 12-hour right here, the 12-hour stochastic momentum is going to have a chance to to cross the upside from a very low level. And this is actually a rather powerful signal in my opinion, because you see obviously, C1 obviously would only need to close above 42,620, which Bitcoin's currently more than it's about $1,000 above right now. Obviously, weird things can happen between now and then. It wouldn't be too much to ask for a $1,000 dumpola. 2, we would see that the DMI is already positive. We would see also the ADX is going for expansion, and the HVP over here is extremely low. So volatility expansion plus momentum turning up plus ADX already up plus DMI already up would be what is actually considered a perfect signal on this indicator. Again, we're calling it the advanced stochastic for Mr. KVDB. And that would have natural targets up to the high of the range, and probably bust on through, if you will. 6-hour time frame is obviously also vertical, very much erect right there. Very similar setup right here as well to the 12-hour, in fact, which is typically a powerful and potent combination. 4-hour also looking good off the lows. We are starting to see volatility tick up alongside momentum, alongside ADX, alongside DMI. Again, after a bit of a short-term correction, so I do like that. And then the hourly and the other very lower term time frames, they're starting to flip-flop around here, as you can see on the hourly coming down below 43.6, by hourly going to turn down below 42.8, and 3-hour is going to be up above about 43.3. So, short-term timeframes, do they ebb and they flow here? Yes, very likely. However, if we do start to get those critical closures above those validation regions, that's where I really do look for this asset to kind of take off and continue on with the slow trudge up here. I'm still kind of biased towards that. I'll briefly go over this chart as well. I just think that it's been working pretty damn well. I want to be following up on this one, and also because it's come to my attention. It's come to my fucking attention that a very prominent YouTuber, or I guess like a group of them, have been somewhat copying my analysis as of recently. And but the problem is they don't have all the same tools as me, so they won't be able to call out all of the stuff that we spoke about earlier because they don't obviously have those tools. But it'd be nice if you are listening, which I think that you probably are. It'd just be nice, if you gave me a little bit of credit for that. That would be cool. It's, you don't have to, I guess, but it would be nice. It'd be a nice gesture instead of just kind of, well, anyways, shouldn't really care about that to begin with, but they're fucking they're massive. Anyways, why am I talking about this? This is bullshit. This stupid stupid bullshit. So who even cares about this to begin with? Should not on my own end. Let's start off here with 3-day MACD. 3-day MACD is crossing the upside. Just blindly playing the cross to the upside in the past, basically in the past 6-7 years has been pretty damn good. I'll go over a few of these, but I do want to first point out that this current cross is coming in the same region as our last major cross that we saw in July off of the bear trap from 30,000 to 69,000, basically. The time before that we did see, the time after that we did see another cross was early October 4th to be exact, which is right here, going from about, mid 40s to upper $69,000 territory. The time before that was obviously that bear trap. So really, realistically more like 30,000 to 53,000, still, pretty damn good. The time before that was right here. Again, just blindly playing this was mid 30s all the way up to, basically the prior all time at $65,000. And the time before that, and I won't go through all these to bore the shit out of you, but was October of 2020 before going from $11,000 to $20,000. Not bad. The next thing in combination with the 3-day MACD is the white 20 simple moving average on the chart right here. Just want to make sure that I'm recording. Okay, microphone's working. That's good. I should definitely do that once you're 15 minutes into this damn video. But yeah, that price action reclaiming the white 20 simple alongside having that 3-day MACD cross the upside has actually has even increased the hit rate, because it's not perfect, but it makes it an even more potent signal statistically speaking. And then the third one, and perhaps even I would argue probably the most important piece of this, is the PMAR on the 3-day here. Now I've gone ahead and I've marked off all of the iterations that we've seen. The PMAR reclaim the white moving average on this chart for the past a little bit over 3 years now, going back to October 2019. All 7 but 8 signals that we've seen throughout that time have actually been some pretty nice moves to the upside. Not like macro lows, no, nothing like that. It is a 3-day chart after all, but pretty damn good signals nonetheless, which we can go over the macro signal on the weekly stochastic. But, well, actually, by the way, just for reference, the weekly stochastic, yeah, across the upside. As Bitcoin obviously closed above $35,000 or $36,000, so that is good for the blue loss as well, I suppose. But yeah, what I've done here is I've marked off all of the vertical green bars with the place on the PMR that correlates to crossing above the moving average on it. These obviously simultaneously imply that the 3-day MACD has also crossed the upside and price action is either already above or has reclaimed on that bar the white 27 moving average. And again, 7 out of 8, pretty damn good. Of course, I should denote that the one failure on this was an epic failure. It's literally buying the high of that right here, as you can see. And obviously, it did go higher over time, but this is not a winning trade setup right here. Also, it took 4 months, which is also a terrible trade and a terrible use of opportunity cost, in my opinion. But hey, teach their own, right? Anyways, I'm actually gonna move this one over here to the white 20 simple, but I'll just measure a few of these out for you so you can see, and also this one as well, because the 20 simple is the last thing to get ticked off over there. But basically, this move over here, about 43% to next major high. This move over here, about 51% to next major high. This one over here, another, well, it basically just goes up, but almost 80% to the upside. And again, these are taking a couple months, by the way, and if you're not catching the time on these. This one over here, about 60% to the upside over the next month or so. This one over here, another pretty good move, to be fair. This one over here from the July bear trap, basically from even the high of that to the next $53,000 high was 60%. This one over here, another, I'm gonna guess 60% move. Wow, or actually no, more 40 to 45. Then yeah, we have another fresh signal over here. We've reclaimed the moving average on the PMAR. We see a bullish 3-day MACD cross the upside, and simultaneously reclaiming the white 20 simple on that same bar. So I would be looking at the last 3-day low. Actually has a bit of a pivot right there at below 41.5. I know I did say earlier on a daily closure below 40,400 on on the daily. Yeah, that looked pretty damn bad for another move back down to the mid $30,000 territory, but probably would be front runnable below yesterday's low or the last 3-day low, which is 41.5 or so on even like a medium term time frame closing basis. So again, want to be offering up multiple angles to be looking at price action on here. But that's kind of the next sort of segment on price action now that we have the next sort of short-term move in line. And, I just want to take a second to just kind of speak to the people who've been on this channel for, kind of like following up on this analysis over time, because I know that these times are generally boring for like the average retail person, which I include myself in that equation as well. I mean, I'm no longer a professional trader because I don't have like a badge, so there's no such thing really. I mean, you can kind of do it for a living. I guess that's what makes you professional. But more importantly, understand that these times that are, typically the most quiet, that is when things really do happen. And while it is, quote unquote boring, which I do agree with, it is rather boring from a volatility perspective. If you can stick around there during these times in markets, you will actually learn a lot simply by just analyzing price action and learning, what to do and what not to do. So I just want to give a shout out to those people. For the people who are not here, well, I'll welcome you back at probably either a much higher or much lower price action. And other than that, is there anything else I want to say? Nah, I think that's it, man. Take care and hopefully see you very soon, and stay safe, sirs and zers.